It's time to talk about the best TVs you can buy and which one might be best for you. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caleb Dennison, and I'm going to say something now that I also said at this time last year. It's been a great year for TVs. As I've been reviewing TVs this year, we've seen more premium features and premium performance trickling down to lower models, which is a good thing because kind of balancing that out is the fact that TVs overall got a bit more expensive in 2024. Still, as we wrap up 2024 and move into 2025, prices are now dropping. We've got holiday sales coming up, and soon after that, prices will start to drop permanently. So whether you're seeing this video right before the holidays or well into 2025, what I have here for you are the smartest TV buys. Sure, those 2025 models are right around the corner, and those will be very exciting, I'm sure. But I'm gonna keep saying what I've been saying for all of 2024. The smartest move you can make is buying the prior year's model. So with 2023 TVs running out of stock at this point and prices on 2024 TVs dropping, these are gonna be the best TVs to buy. Which reminds me, and I think I said this last year as well, a quick reminder that this list is just the best of the best. There are other really great TVs out there, and I'll do another video about those, but we have to whittle down all the choices somehow. So I'm sticking to my personal favorites. These are the TVs that I recommend to my friends and family. Sound good? Okay, let's get into it. Let's start with QLED TVs, and then we'll migrate to OLED TVs. Now, if you're not familiar with the difference between QLED and OLED, I've got a video for that too. Link down in the description, and we'll go ahead and pop it up for some of you here. Ding. But here's a real basic breakdown between these two TV types. QLED TVs are LCD TVs with LED backlights and quantum dots that combine to make bright, colorful images. QLED TVs are better than non-QLED LCD TVs for HDR, or high dynamic range content. And there's a ton of HDR content out there now coming from streaming services and 4K Blu-rays. We're even seeing some HDR content coming through some cable and satellite channels. And it's gorgeous stuff. Anyway, simply put, QLED TVs are the best of the LCD TV camp. OLED TVs are a different kind of technology where each pixel makes its own light. There's no LED backlight required. And because of that, they have perfect black levels, which is the basis for amazing contrast. And contrast is what our eyes pick up most easily. They also have really wide viewing angles, which means you can sit well off to the side of the TV, and it looks just about as good as it does if you sit right in front of it. Now, it used to be that OLED TVs couldn't get quite as bright as LCD TVs, but now they punch right up there in terms of brightness. Enough brightness anyway for most folks in most usage situations. Still, OLED TVs tend to be more expensive than their similarly featured QLED counterparts. And while a lot has been done to prevent burn-in, OLED TVs can experience burn-in if you watch the same channel for 6 to 7 hours a day, every single day. If you're a TV on all day kind of person, I'd suggest skipping OLED for a QLED instead. With that out of the way, let's dig into the best QLED TVs. I'm gonna start with what I think is the best value in TVs on the market today, the Hisense U7N. This TV marks that point of diminishing returns. I mean, you can spend more and you will get a little bit more, but the U7N looks so good. Most people won't want for more. I think most folks looking at the U7N side by side with, say, the step-up model, the Hisense U8N, you might see a difference, but you'd have a tough time seeing $250 of difference, or at least would have a tough time seeing themselves needing that $250 worth of difference. That's why I tend to recommend this TV so often. There is just one caveat though. The U7N that Hisense loaned to me to review had a bit of what we call dirty screen effect. I have a video about what that is right here. Now, this isn't something everyone is sensitive to, but no TV is totally immune to it. They all have some degree of it. It's kind of a luck of the draw thing. And I'm going out of my way to mention this because it's my stance that if you get a unit that you aren't totally thrilled with, try not to get discouraged. Exchange it, because this TV is good enough to go through that effort, in my opinion. Chances are the replacement is going to be in fine shape. Now, at this price point, the under $800 for a 65-inch TV price point, the TCL QM7 is also a strong option. That TV is also really good, but I tend to lean toward the Hisense because it has just that extra bit of pop to the contrast, thanks to its slightly more aggressive mini LED backlight system. It's also got a slightly more accurate filmmaker mode picture preset, so if accurate, natural looking colors are your thing, then the U7N is just a slightly better choice. The U7N's onboard sound quality is also a bit better than the TCL QM7. So if you don't plan on adding a soundbar or some other speaker system, I think you'll find the Hisense U7N is a better overall package for you. Taking a step up, we get to what I have to call a tie between two really outstanding TVs, the Hisense U8N and the TCL QM8. Now, like the U7N I mentioned just now, neither of these TVs have great off-angle viewing, meaning the further you sit off to the side of the TV, the more washed out the picture tends to look. It doesn't look bad, it's just not nearly as good or enchanting when viewed from straight on. But you should know that to get better off-angle performance, you're gonna need to spend significantly more. So what I'm saying is, poor off-angle performance is kind of part and parcel for TVs at this price range. Other than that one issue though, these TVs both look outstanding and they both do HDR content really well. Pictures really pop off the screen. Color is vibrant. They are both just a real treat to watch. Now between the two, I favor the TCL QM8. While the Hisense U8N has slightly higher measurable contrast and is slightly more accurate out of the box in its filmmaker mode picture preset, the TCL QM8 tends to be a bit brighter, has better blooming control, and a slightly zippier backlight system. The Hisense U8N is available in a wider variety of screen sizes though, so that may help make your decision between the two. The TCL QM8 comes in screen sizes of 65, 75, 85, and 98 inches, while the Hisense starts down at a 55-inch screen size and runs all the way up to 100 inches, which is just a touch larger than the 98-inch TCL big screen. As always, if you want to learn more about any of these TVs, I've got links to the full reviews down in the description. Next up is the Sony Bravia 7. And I'll just tell you right now, this TV is a bit more expensive than the TCL QM8 and the Hisense U8N that I just spoke about. But if you want stunningly accurate and clean picture quality, nobody beats Sony, especially when it comes to making low quality cable, satellite, and streaming content look better than it actually is. The drawback to the Sony Bravia 7 is that, like the other TVs on this list, it doesn't have great off-angle picture quality, and the other issue with this TV is that its reflection handling is not particularly great. So, I'm tending not to recommend this TV for folks who watch TV during the day in a room with lots of light pouring in. With that said, I have seen comments from viewers of this channel saying they've got the Bravia 7 in a bright room and they're having no problems at all. And that's a great thing because this Bravia 7 is an incredibly good TV. I just think it's best in dedicated media rooms where you can control the light and therefore the reflections. It is amazingly accurate, bright, clean, and a delight to watch. It's got that air of refinement that you just don't get from the previous TVs that I've mentioned. It's just that, like I said earlier, you're gonna pay a premium for it. Now, I'm gonna call an audible and also include the Panasonic W95A right along with the Bravia 7 here, and for all the same reasons. The Panasonic W95A is a new TV to the United States. Panasonic just made a return, and I just got it unboxed and started using it. And so far, it is neck and neck with the Bravia 7. So I would say for $100 less, at least right now, you should definitely also consider the Panasonic. Just keep in mind that the Sony runs Google TV, while the Panasonic runs Fire TV. So if you have feelings about either one of those smart TV OSs, that might help you make your decision. Next up is the Samsung QN90D. Now this is a TV that I think is going to appeal to a lot of people. This TV has slightly better off-angle viewing than the previous TVs on this list. It's got great brightness and color, great contrast, and maybe best of all, it's a premium TV that splits the difference in price between the TCL QM8 and the Bravia 7. It's also available in the widest variety of screen sizes too, from 43 inches all the way up to 98 inches. Oh, and if you're a big gamer and want 4 HDMI 2.1 inputs so you can connect an Xbox and a PlayStation 5 and maybe a gaming PC too, then this is the only TV that I've mentioned so far that has 4 HDMI 2.1 inputs. The others just have 2. Now, each of the other TVs that I've mentioned before the Samsung here perhaps do a few things technically better than the Samsung QN90D, but this is a TV for which the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It's just the best overall package, in my opinion. Next up is the Sony Bravia 9. Now this is the most expensive QLED TV on this list, but as far as I'm concerned, it is the best QLED TV that you can buy right now. Now it's not perfect. Like all the other QLED TVs I've listed, its off-angle viewing is not superb, but it's the best of the bunch. Also, the Bravia 9 has needed a few updates in its first few months to really realize its full potential. But with all of that said, I think the Bravia 9 is the best QLED TV that has ever been made to date. It aces just about every test that we can throw at it. I don't feel like I can say much more than that. If you really want the best QLED, and cost is no object, here it is, the Bravia 9. To find out how it's more advanced than other TVs, be sure to check out the full review because I fully dig into it, specifically around this TV's remarkable mini LED backlight system. Now, my friends, we move on to OLED TVs. I gotta tell you, OLED TVs are just my personal favorite. They aren't the right choice for everyone, as I mentioned earlier, but if watching movies and TV is an important part of your life and is a real treat for you, then an OLED TV is gonna make that treat as sweet as it can be. I wanna start off our best OLED TV list with the 2 OLED TVs that I think most people should buy. They aren't the absolute best of the best, but OLED TVs start at a baseline of awesome. And so the LG C4 and the Samsung S90D are the 2 OLED TVs I think most folks should consider buying. While they are still expensive relative to QLED TVs, the LG C4 and Samsung S90D offer outstanding performance for prices well under the ultra premium OLED TVs that I'm going to show you next. Now, the LG C4 OLED uses what is called a WOLED panel. This has a white subpixel to help boost the brightness, while the Samsung S90D OLED is made with a QD OLED panel. Once again, I have a separate video explaining the differences between these 2 technologies if you want to check that out. Now, I think color purists will appreciate the S90D QD OLED. I also think fans of QD OLED TV technology will prefer the S90D over its more expensive cousin, the S95D, because it doesn't use a super aggressive anti-glare system. So it tends to have slightly more luster to the picture. Either way, LG C4 or Samsung S90D, you are getting tremendous picture quality for your money. Both have 4 HDMI 2.1 ports and attractive designs. Neither of them have especially amazing sound quality though, so I would recommend a good soundbar system so you get sound as impressive as the picture. Otherwise, there's kind of a disconnect there between the picture quality and the sound quality. I should also mention that the LG C4 comes in a wider variety of screen sizes. You can start as small as 48 inches and work your way up to 83 inches. The Samsung S90D is only available in 55, 65, and 77-inch options. So depending on your screen size needs, that could kind of make the decision for you. And now we get to what I think are the absolute best 2024 TVs that you can buy. I'll just list them out real quick and then we'll dive slightly deeper into each of them. But you should know that all of these are just exceptional TVs. We have the LG G4 Gallery Series OLED, the Samsung S95D QD OLED, the Sony A95L OLED, and a newcomer to the North American market again, the Panasonic Z95A OLED. Yes, it is so awesome to welcome back Panasonic. Sorry, I'm a TV nerd. So the LG G4 Gallery Series OLED. I guess we should start with the fact that this is, perceptually speaking, the brightest OLED TV that you can buy right now. You can get this TV in 65, 77, 83, and 97-inch screen sizes, and all but that big old 97-inch model have a special feature called MLA, or Micro Lens Array technology. MLA uses millions of tiny lenses to focus all of the light that the OLED pixels produce out into the room rather than let some of it scatter inside the panel. The LG G4 is loaded with just about every gamer-friendly feature available on the market. It supports, I think, every version of HDR out there. The only thing it doesn't have that some of the other OLEDs do is an ATSC 3.0 tuner, or next-gen tuner, which is kind of a drag. Not because I think it makes a meaningful difference to most folks, but because it seems like a blemish not to have the latest over-the-air broadcast support. I should also mention that LG's processing has gotten extremely good, and that helps the LG G4 stand right up to the best TVs ever made, including a couple of others on this list. Honestly, other than its lofty price, it's hard to come up with a reason not to buy the LG G4. It's just an exceptional TV. Next on this list is the Samsung S95D QD OLED. Now, among some TV enthusiasts, this TV has caused something of an uproar, which I think is completely unnecessary. Most of you out there are going to love that the S95D has the best anti-glare and anti-reflection handling that I've ever seen on a TV. If you're gonna put an OLED TV in a sun-soaked living room and watch it during the day, this is the best TV to get, OLED or QLED. And because it's a QD OLED, its color brightness and color saturation is unmatched. I like the processing in the LG, Sony, and Panasonic options a little bit better, but there is no denying that this TV stands out as a uniquely ideal option for a lot of folks. Highly recommend. Next is a TV that made our list last year. It's a bit of a holdover, but it remains one of the best TVs that you can buy. And a bunch of experts have ranked it as the best TV that you can buy 2 years running now. The Sony A95L OLED. This TV is kind of legendary. It offers the best picture quality I've ever seen in a TV up to this point. But the A95L now has competition that it didn't up until just a couple of weeks before I recorded this video. And that would be the also legendary Panasonic Z95A OLED TV. Now, the Panasonic Z95A uses an MLA OLED panel made by LG Display, just like the LG G4 I just talked about. The difference is in Panasonic's professional grade processing, the onboard audio system, and the fact that it runs Amazon's Fire TV OS platform. Now, at the time I'm recording this video, I have not finished my review of this TV, but my review will be out very soon, so you can check that for details. Still, I'm including the Panasonic Z95A because other reviewers that I respect overseas who have had access to this TV and its predecessors rave about it. There's no question that it belongs on this list. The only question is whether it dethrones Sony and the A95L as the best TV on this list. There you go, folks. The definitive list of the best 2024 TVs you can buy. Do you think there's a TV I left out that should have been included? Let me know down in the comments. And hey, would you please slap this video with a like if you enjoyed it and think it might help others? I do appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I'll see you on the next one. And until then, here's 2 other videos I think you might like. Wow, guys, are we actually wrapping up 2024? Boy, that sounds so Instagrammy.